Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Inna and today we're checking out a very interesting video regarding the Netherlands. I'm assuming that it's interesting because it has so many views and I'm pretty sure that I have seen the thumbnail of this video before several times. I might have even clicked on it at some point, but if I did that, it was like 2 years ago and I don't remember much. So I feel like it's a great opportunity to check it out together and learn some stuff regarding the Netherlands. Now, for a little bit of context, I was born in Ukraine and I moved to Italy when I was 7 years old, and I was pretty much raised in Italy my whole life. I did visit the Netherlands briefly for last year for TwitchCon. I spent like half a day in Amsterdam and a couple of days in Rotterdam, and I'm also going back this year for TwitchCon, and I'm taking a couple of extra days this time around, so I really want to enjoy Amsterdam and also Rotterdam. So I will have like a little holiday combined with TwitchCon. This being said, I'm eager to learn as much as I can regarding the Netherlands because, yeah, second time visiting, there are going to be so many new details and new things that are just going to be incredible to learn. So yeah, let's just check out this video together. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoy this type of content. And yeah, let's just go. Why the Netherlands is insanely well designed.
This is a map of bike path density in Europe.
Wait, no, what happened?
This is a map of bike path density in Europe.
Ooh.
All the purple lines are bike paths, and if you devote your attention to the left part of this map, you'll see a coastal country with a lot of purple lines. This is the Netherlands, a densely populated country that knows a thing or two about designing brilliant infrastructure. And the bike paths play a significant role in that. See, with a population of 17.4 million people and a landmass of approximately 41,500 square kilometers, the Netherlands is smaller in size yet more densely populated than most European countries. So, in order to navigate that, they've come up with effective and interesting ways to handle population movement in and around their country. The most notable of which is, of course, the cycling infrastructure. And yes, it is as serious as everybody says it is, as it enables the 23 million bikes that are in the Netherlands to roam the streets. And by the way, 23 million bikes means that there are 1.3 bikes per capita. That's absolutely insane. I mean,
crazy.
What would the bike per capita be in the United States? Maybe 0.5? What?
Maybe.
It's 0.3. That would mean if you met an American, there is a greater chance they're obese than them owning a bicycle. Mad. Anyway, when you combine the Netherlands' bike infrastructure with its amazing public transport, you get a ridiculously smooth and efficient system. Here's how it works in Amsterdam. Commuters will use their bikes to get to and enter transit stations, where they simply park their bikes in these enormous bike parking garages. Then they'll travel on either a bus, tram, or train to their final destination. But most of the time, the fastest and most convenient option is simply taking the bikes to the final destination. But why is cycling the most convenient option? What has the Netherlands done for this to be the case? Well, the country has made cycling incredibly easy, with 32,000 kilometers of bike lanes that aren't just a small strip along a heavily trafficked road. Now, the Dutch do things differently. They have marked out red asphalt pavements like this strictly for cyclists. The only time cars and bikes end up on the same road is when the speed limit is less than 30 kilometers an hour.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to that.
Any higher than that, and there is a clear separation like this one, even on highways and roundabouts. But
wait, even on highways? Wow, that's crazy. Now, I just wanted to add on this note that it's absolutely true, and bikers terrified me. Like, I'm not even joking. There are so many bikes, especially like if you're in Amsterdam city center, that you actually have to pay attention to where you're going because there are so many, and if you don't have your eyes open and like, you know, careful watching around you all the time, it's very easy to like have a bike run into you, but it would be your fault. Like, it is their word, obviously, so you really have to be careful. I remember that I was actually kind of scared. I was like, okay, can we go? Luckily, when I visited, we had some local people with us, so they were like, yeah, you don't go now or go like whatever. Like, they helped us a little bit. It might sound silly to say it like that, but I knew that Amsterdam and the Netherlands had a lot of bikers, but I just like couldn't imagine the capacity. Like, it's crazy.
A whole lot more than just biking and their capital city, Amsterdam. And to be honest, the most impressive infrastructure in the Netherlands is not even in Amsterdam. To see that, we have to go to Utrecht, a city that lies right here south of Amsterdam. It hosts the largest bike parking facility
Oh, I have
in
seen
the
a video
world.
about this
Room
one,
to
yes.
park over 12,500 bicycles, and it has 24/7 camera surveillance. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. There's no way this can be replicated in other countries. This is alien-like. But that's a myth, and there's a very simple reason for that. Just take a look at Rotterdam. During World War II, the city was practically demolished and looked, well, like this. The Dutch had to rebuild everything, and they chose to go for an automobile-centered design, which is exactly how North American cities were built too. And considering where the Netherlands is today, it's crazy to think that many Dutch cities were heading in this direction too. But by the 70s, Rotterdam residents were tired of major road fatalities and plummeting cycling and walking culture. So they demanded reform, and the regulators listened. Public transportation was then heavily invested in, and roads were rebuilt to facilitate bike lanes. After which, cycling regained its popularity.
That makes sense, but yeah, I definitely noticed that in Rotterdam in general there are less bikers than Amsterdam. However, like Rotterdam, I'm pretty sure it also has a smaller population, so that could be the cause there.
Facilitate bike lanes. After which, cycling regained its popularity. This just goes to show that even North American cities can do this if they choose to do so. But the determinism and people-centered planning of the Netherlands extends out of the cities and into Dutch suburbs as well. To bring this point home, let's compare typical Dutch suburbs to those in a state that's just as bustling and growing. In the United States, Florida. Now sure, Florida is 3.4 times larger than the Netherlands, but the argument should still stand. So here is a typical Miami suburb. What do you notice? There's a lot of greenery, but mostly there's a lot of roads, and they're specifically made for cars. Sure, there are sidewalks, but they are thin and can barely accommodate a cycler and pedestrian at the same time. And now let's look at a Dutch suburb. The homes here are much smaller, and that's an important detail, as it leaves more space for communal centers like parks and proper biking and walking lanes separated from the road by greenery.
Oh, that's true. Honestly, like, sorry, I'm just pausing because I noticed this. Yes, like, I never paid attention to the fact that the houses kind of look smaller. Like, what at least like in both these two pictures that they're showing us in Florida, it looks like everybody has a massive house and like a lot of backyard space. I saw some pools and stuff. So it's like, yeah, this is mine and this is my land. While here it's like the density is a little bit higher. But it's also true that the Netherlands are smaller. Like they actually have less land than Florida, right? And I'm not sure if this is the case for every single neighborhood or just for these two. Let me know if you know.
I can definitely understand that it seems like a sacrifice to have smaller homes, but what you get in return is efficiency. And if time is the most valuable thing we have, then this system is superior. And while Dutch efficiency has become somewhat of a trademark for the country, things weren't always so blissful and enviable. You see, technically speaking, a large part of the Netherlands should not exist. And this is what amazes me the most. See, the Netherlands was notorious for constant flooding thanks to its low elevation and closeness to the North Sea. But the Dutch have found a way to beat the ocean multiple times. This is the reason why nearly 20% of the land in the Netherlands is reclaimed land from the many marshes, swamps, lakes, and of course the sea. But how? Well, two words: Delta works. After a deadly storm in 1953 that covered over 150,000 hectares of land and took the lives of an estimated 2,000 people, the Dutch decided something had to be done. Delta Works was the answer. Delta Works is a vast network of 13 dams and barriers, featuring sluices, locks, dikes, and levees. They shelter off these 4 inlets, namely Haringvlietdam, Broeversdam, Oosterscheldekering, and Verzegatam. I'm sorry, Dutch people, I tried my best. Anyway, they used these to reduce the coastline by 700 kilometers and remove the need for smaller and weaker levees and dams that would require constant maintenance. Pretty ingenious, I gotta say. But the Dutch...
Honestly, I feel like this is kind of crazy, and I don't want to talk badly about the country where I am now, because like that's not what I want to do. I love living in Italy. Like every country, it has its perks and its flaws and everything. But I'm just thinking that I think that it would be super, super hard to do something like this or like, you know, like an engineering project as big and as wide in Italy as well, because there's always something that goes wrong. Like I always hear about, like, you know, let's make this bridge here or like whatever that there, and they make these pretty much what they do is that they make a public competition. Like it's, the word is bando, I don't know how to translate it properly in English, but let's just say that like it's a public thingy. Everybody can be like, yes, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it, and then whoever makes the bando chooses who the winner is and who can do the project. So this process is always so time consuming, and like who wins the bando, then maybe like they fail and they have to go and redo something else and whatever. And of course, I have to say it because I know that you guys will think about these, there are a lot of speculations that quite often in these big projects there might be mafia stuff involved. Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know about that. Luckily I know nothing about it. But in Italy, times are definitely so much slower. It takes us forever to complete these big projects, and sometimes we start them and abandon them. And like now, just seeing these being done in the Netherlands, I'm like, wow, that is hella crazy. They did that. They actually did it. It's such a huge task. So I just kind of really want to use this moment to just like make a big applause to all the Dutch people that were involved in these and in all the other projects, because wow, that's so efficient. I almost can't believe that stuff like this is actually possible in the world. So yeah, just wanted to leave it out there.
That would require constant maintenance. Pretty ingenious, I gotta say. But the Dutch haven't just prevented floodings, they've also created new land. And they achieved this without using modern technology. How?
Really?
Well, first they would section off the areas they wanted to reclaim, whereafter they would drain the water out by harvesting the energy of the wind, using, of course, windmills. This created flat plains comprised of a very unique soil that happens to be perfect for growing tulips. And this is why the Netherlands account for 80% of the world's tulip exports, which is kind of strange to think about. But today, these waters and innovations have earned the Netherlands some pretty envious titles, including the largest storm surge barrier in the world, that laid the ground for the largest and most efficient seaport in Europe, the port of Rotterdam. Located here in the delta of the Rhine and Meuse rivers, Rotterdam is in a perfect strategic location for ships coming from or going into the North Sea. To understand the sheer size of this port, here is a map of Manhattan laid on top. As you can see, the port of Rotterdam is about 1.5 times the size of Manhattan.
Holy cow.
It's huge. And with 82.5% of the Netherlands' GDP coming from exports, it's fair to say that the port of Rotterdam is really important.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about this port's efficiency, but all you need to know is that it wins best port infrastructure year after year. The Dutch are incredibly talented at designing great infrastructure. I mean, just look at the Amsterdam airport, Schiphol, the third busiest airport in Europe. It looks pretty average.
One thing that I remember clearly about the airport is that pretty much there was the moment where we were driving back to the airport, and we were like on the highway, and then there was like a bridge with a runway of the airport, like above the highway. I have never seen anything like it. I haven't traveled much, to be fair, but I was like so amazed at it. It was crazy to see.
Until you consider the number of people moving through this structure. Schiphol facilitates 68 to 80 million passengers annually to 332 direct destinations, utilizing its 6 runways facing multiple directions. Schiphol coordinates an average of 1,500 to 1,600 departures and landings per day, giving them an hourly average of 110 to 120 aircrafts. And Schiphol accomplishes this despite being smaller than other major airports like Adolfo Suarez Madrid in Spain or the Leonardo da Vinci International Airport in Italy.
I had no idea.
The best thing about this airport though is that once passengers arrive, they have a number of transportation options, as the high-speed Thalys and Columbus trains can be accessed just beneath the terminal building. From here, you can take a 15-minute ride to the Amsterdam Central Station, or use the Dutch rail network to travel across the country. Honestly, you could go anywhere from here. If
Wow.
trains aren't your style, then the airport offers affordable express buses as well. The funny thing about this airport though is that it's 4 meters below sea level, sitting on what used to be Harlem Lake.
I
But
didn't
all in all though,
know.
the Netherlands is an overload of intelligent design, and while some people might think it's nearly impossible to implement these methods into other countries, the reality is these methods can be replicated any place in the world if the people and leadership are willing to collaborate and listen to one another and invest in infrastructure that is people, environment, and future centered. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Alright, you're right. That was quite an informative video. I'm glad that I got to watch it. I learned a couple of new things, and especially like this airport thing is crazy. So like whenever I land there next month for TwitchCon, I'll be like, yeah, we are 4 meters below sea level, because I had no idea, and I spent quite some time at this airport. Wow, that's crazy. And the biggest thing that I learned from this video, that I kind of knew already, but it just this concept that was definitely reinforced in my head, is how efficient Dutch people are. Like I love how they have a problem, they find a solution, and they execute it. It's amazing. Like imagine if everybody in the world was like that, if every single country was like that. Wow, we would be living in the future, baby. So yeah, I really like this video. It was so well made and so informative. I cannot wait to go back to the Netherlands. I cannot wait to see all the things that I didn't get to see last year, especially Amsterdam, because again, I went mainly for TwitchCon, so I spent a lot of time in Rotterdam. Amsterdam, just like half a day the first day, and then like the day of departure. So this time around I'm gonna be spending a couple of nights there. There are things that I'm planning on doing, but if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down below, including food, museums, and everything between. Thank you so much for watching this one with me. I really hope that you also learned a little bit of something, and if you want to add a little bit more of info regarding Netherlands, leave everything in the comments down below. I'm gonna see you guys real soon. Bye!